Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again, and in today's video I am going to be doing a huge theory for Revolution of the Daleks, now that we know the synopsis of the episode and that we've had a few pictures, and I'm kind of like, okay, we kind of know how the episode's going to fold out now. Now, obviously there are going to be a few surprises and everything, but this plot theory is going to be how the Daleks essentially become a threat in the episode. Now, from the images that were released yesterday as part of the New York Comic Con panel, they didn't really give away too much. We know that the Doctor's still in prison, and that we know that Graham, Yaz and Ryan have to supposedly fight off a Dalek by themselves. That does sound quite challenging, but we know from previous behind the scenes photos that were leaked during filming that there is more than one Dalek. So why are they just fighting off the one? Well, if you have a closer look at the famous table photo, you can see a little note about MDZ research. That, if you remember correctly, in the previous Dalek episode, Resolution, they were a organisation that had a Dalek gun in storage. That, sounded pretty interesting. We didn't really learn much more about the organisation, as they weren't mentioned again during the episode. But the fact that they had access to that Dalek gun was pretty interesting. And then we know later on in the Resolution episode that the Dalek got blown up. So the shell was completely destroyed, and then, the Dalek essentially was, except for it took over Ryan's dad, but then the Dalek mutant was destroyed in space, yada yada. You know how the episode ended. But this is where my theory comes in, and I have seen a lot of people start discussing about a reverse engineered Dalek, and that's an idea I like, but I would like to take it a step further. So this MDZ research organisation get hold of the remnants of the Dalek shell that was destroyed when the Dalek exploded. And they have this shell, and obviously they have access to the gun and everything, and they essentially build a new Dalek model, and that new Dalek model is the Dalek that we see in the leaked photos. So the black Dalek that essentially looks like the Dalek from Resolution, except for a little bit more neater, and it does look a lot sleeker. So perhaps this Dalek isn't necessarily controlled by a mutant or anything. This Dalek is purely robotic. But the fact that it is using old Dalek tech, and this Dalek before the new Dalek, the Dalek from Resolution, did try to summon the Dalek fleet, so perhaps this Dalek being reactivated summons the Russell T Davies era Daleks that we've seen from the behind the scenes photos, and it summons them to Earth. And upon arriving on Earth, this Dalek essentially gets destroyed by these other Daleks, because if you remember from Victory of the Daleks, all the way back in the Moffat era, the pure-blooded Daleks, Daleks with pure DNA, looked down upon the Davros DNA Daleks and was like, no, you shouldn't exist, and then they just got exterminated. So, maybe something happened here with this genetically engineered, reverse engineered, whatever, this new form of Dalek. But let's not forget, obviously Graham, Brian and Yaz are going to be able to see this Dalek. Perhaps it gets announced in a press conference, because we did discuss in a previous video how the American president from Arachnid in the UK, how he's going to be involved in the episode, so perhaps it could be announced through one of his press conferences, perhaps, maybe, or it's, something that's announced in the UK. It could be a new product or something like that, and they recognise the Dalek straight away, and they're like, oh, this is a huge threat, because they've seen how much destruction a Dalek can cause, so maybe they decide to tackle it head on. But let's not forget, they don't really have a lot of experience with fighting Daleks, so they might need some help, and maybe that's how either Unit, or like a remnants of Unit, or Captain Jack comes into play, because there were some leaked pictures of a old Unit truck that we previously discussed on the channel as well, and obviously there are a lot of rumours about Captain Jack coming back for this episode. Now, I would lean more towards Captain Jack coming back, because obviously there's a lot more evidence. John Barrowman has been constantly teasing fans that he's going to be coming back, and let's be honest, Captain Jack has a lot of experience fighting Daleks, so yeah, he would seem like a prime candidate to help the TARDIS team fight the Daleks. Now, obviously, with the Doctor being in prison, that's going to be something interesting, because obviously there is going to be a time jump by the looks of things, so I don't know by how many years, how many days, how many months. It's going to be pretty interesting. It looks like a substantial amount of time from the behind the scenes photo that has the Doctor writing loads of like tallies on the wall. So yeah, that'll be pretty interesting to see how she escapes. Now, a lot of people have said in the past that maybe Captain Jack is the one to break her out of prison. Now, I wouldn't say that would potentially be the case, because obviously, you know, a lot of people are thinking that from Fugitive of the Judoon that he could be in the cell next to her because he stole that ship. Now, that is pretty plausible, don't get me wrong, but okay, let's just say with this theory that Captain Jack is back on Earth and he's, you know, helping the TARDIS team fight this new Dalek. But obviously, with the Judoon holding the Doctor captive, maybe the standard Daleks that are essentially aware of this new Dalek design and they're seeing it as a threat to their Dalek society, they make a little stop on the way to Earth and, well, I say they pick up the Doctor. They essentially capture the Doctor from the prison that she's in and they exterminate all the Judoon that are there. And that would be a pretty interesting thing, because obviously these old standard Daleks will be scared of the new Dalek design, and it's something that they're worried about. They're worried about being replaced by this new Dalek. And I know it sounds really stupid, but it seems plausible to me. But I guess we'll just see what happens. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to this video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like rating and subscribe, and I'll see you all on my next video. Goodbye for now.